Luis, tell us more about this college, this school.
Well, we are 1,800 students strong. We give degrees in undergrad, master's, and doctorate. We have a very vibrant PhD program, and we place students all over the country. The most recent placements were at the University of Maine and even Texas State, which are much larger universities than us. But that goes to show the vibrancy of the research that our professors are able to produce.
And tell us about the Sanchez School. How long has that been going?
So the Sanchez School of Business, as the name goes back to 2008. Of course, it was before then that the College of Business started. Back then, it was the College of Business, and in 2008, it became the Sanchez School of Business.
Tell us about your role there, Luis. You're quite new at the school.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Steve. I have been there. I am finishing my 43rd week at the Sanchez School of Business and loving it. It was June 3rd, my first day. I still, of course, remember it. It has been a blur, but in a good way because the community is fantastic. The business leaders are awesome. They are very committed to Laredo, the Laredo area, to our students. The faculty also are very committed producing great research. And also, the teaching ability is fantastic. We want to be able to produce here what others can do in other parts of the world. Frankly, because here we are, as you probably know, Laredo is the number one port, trading port in the Americas. Not only in the United States. So I often tell my students, faculty, and our business community leaders, hey, we're also the gateway, not only in goods and services, but also in human capabilities. We have the potential to bridge the North with the South. Frankly, there is nothing stopping us from being very effective recruiting from South America and being able. In fact, whenever I'm going to conferences and I tell them about the good things that we have at the Sanchez School of Business, everybody gets interested. We have quite a bit of people very engaged with what we're doing. If I may say something else, we have several centers of excellence and programs. One of them is the Center for the Study of Western Hemispheric Trade. And so we bring lots of practitioners and academics, 4 to 5 each year. We invite people, so it's students, the community, free of charge, by the way. And then we bring our industry partners to actually mingle with the person that is presenting either research or is in the trenches to enrich the communication. So that is something that is going on. Earlier here in the podium, I was saying, Steve, that we are committed to bridge academia with practice because that is powerful. So there are two mandates for universities. One is, yes, produce new knowledge, that's through research, and also the spillover effect of giving that knowledge to the learner. But frankly, one of the ways that we also can do that is to give that knowledge in other ways to the business community. So that's where academia and industry practice match.
And although you haven't been there long, how well connected is the school with the business community? Is it favorably looked upon? Is it deemed very important to the business community of Laredo?
I have been very surprised, positively surprised on how well connected we are. It's not even, as I mentioned, not even 10 months that I have been here. I serve in a committee at the Laredo Chamber of Commerce. I'm very appreciative of my being well received by personalities and people with high business acumen. Likewise, I recently was accepted to become a board member at the Laredo Economic Development Corporation. So this is very humbling because that shows that how accepting business leaders are to TAMIU and the Sanchez School of Business. And it is my hope that I can live to those expectations.
Tell us about the award that you got tonight, here at the ResTef gala, you actually picked up a check.
Yes, I'm very happy that you and then you're mentioning it's check for $250,000. That is fantastic, and that is for the Banking Academy. This is one of the new additions as far as our centers of excellence. That started a few years ago, Steve, and so first my predecessor, Dr. Cios, started with the curriculum, and other members had to do also with curricular side, hiring new professors. So for the curricular part, I felt when I first came in, I felt that was very strong already, and then knowing or having a little bit of experience in these types of endeavors from my previous places of work, I thought that it would be a good idea to incorporate what I call co-curricular activities. So those co-curricular activities have to do with mixers where bankers can come and mentoring students, where we generate competitions or simulations, where these co-curricular opportunities actually introduce best business practices to the students. So when I presented that over the summertime to the banking community, they were very accepting of that proposal. So I am very humbled by that acceptance, and we have to live by for to that expectation. So
I'm sh-
that's
I'm sure not many people have heard of a banking academy within a university, within a school of business. How rare is it?
Well, the Banking Academy, it's somewhat rare. I mean, there are several here in Texas, and by several I mean less than five, though. I mean, so there are a few. So there is that. However, here the Banking Academy has a a focus again on practice. So when bankers get a hold of our students, they should be prepared to, from day one, understand loans, of course, mortgages, commercial banking, and then if they want to be more specialized and pursue other types of things with the affinity or the mission of our staff to provide or equip students in our case to pursue meaningful careers. That's what we're all about, because meaningful careers suggest also leading a life with purpose. So I'm all over that. I mean, leading a life with purpose. Imagine equipping somebody to lead a life like that, a life worth living. I mean, so that's why in education, I am very happy to be working in this industry, but because we have that opportunity to change lives.
One last question about the banking academy. Given that
Yes.
you're in Laredo, so much of the banking community, so much of the banking transactions in Laredo are international in nature. Is there an international component to the academy that perhaps you wouldn't find in academies in other parts of Texas or the US?
So absolutely. Thankfully, our school, in fact, has and the university. That's why we're very proud to have the I in our name, Texas A&M International University, because there is an international component within our degrees. So we want to be a little bit more intentional about that through in the next few semesters. But there is a component right now for those that want to pursue it. But we want to emphasize that part, Steve.
Let's move on now to Laredo Day in Washington, D.C. You were in D.C. How did the event go?
This is my first time, and I was very impressed by the DC delegation. So it is the city, it is of course members of the Laredo Chamber of Commerce, Laredo Economic Development Corporation, and then there were three members from Texas A&M International University. So all of us trying to put forth the interest of Laredo, and in our case, Tammy, you as a member, as a partner for the city, as an engine of progress and development. I am a big believer, Steve, on this four helix model, which is, of course, industry, government, universities, and then the civil society. We all, the four forces, we need to work together so to create further development for our citizens and the people we serve.
As a delegation, did you have a particular agenda? Did you have any two or three really key points that you needed to get across to the members of Congress? Funding for anything in particular?
Well, as of now, the main thing, based upon the situation that we're living and the current challenges, the idea is to present ourselves. Many times, people do not or have not heard how important Laredo is. Laredo, again, as I'm repeating myself, number one port, not only in the nation, but in the Americas. So oftentimes people do not know the impact of Laredo. So it's about telling our story, making sure that they understand that in this particular border, we have their best, their interest in mind. And so if they help us, we're going to help them with better prices, higher speeds. So if we want to create a situation, so for instance, in my case, we're trying to promote one of our projects. And so I will leave it at that. So that project has to do with more efficiency on cross-border crossing. So from that standpoint, if that project gets it's approved, let's put it that way, we will become more efficient as a port.
And then my final question is, because I learned this in our conversation before we went on air tonight, while you were in DC, you had the opportunity to explain again a report, a study that you worked on a few years back. Can you talk about that?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much for bringing that up. So 2 years ago, I published something about these real options. So to kind of explain this in simple terms, it works like an insurance. So for instance, with the pandemic, everybody felt the pinch, if you will, that we didn't have products. All of a sudden, if we wanted to buy something, it was not available. So one of the things that I propose in that paper is that we need businesses, industry, need to develop manufacturing facilities in the States, but only at a 5% rate. So imagine if your entire production, 100% is abroad, just bring back 5%. Why 5%? Because that's like an insurance. So you need to see that as an insurance, not because it is better cost-wise, of course it's not, but because if you have a problem with your production, then the insurance kicks in and then you will have some product. Not only that, you will have an opportunity to learn because you have the ability of manufacturing here in the States, and you can leverage that knowledge to then scale up if something were to occur. So that is a paper on real options that I wrote, and when I explained that to some friends, apparently it went well too.
Well, Luis, these are all the questions I had. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Have I missed anything out?
Well, just that please think about Texas A&M International University. Of course, we love. If I'm being selfish, of course, I would love to have you in the Sanchez School of Business. But I also understand that many others have other pursuits in life. Of course, it's biology, engineering. We have outstanding programs, education, nursing. So we have a great collection of programs. So we're waiting for you at Texas A&M International University.
Thank you so much for today's interview, Luis.
Thank you very much, Steve.